book listener. It's actually my preferred way to, quote unquote, read. And if you haven't tried listening to one yet, go to www.fromringtoveil.com/freebook to get a free audiobook from Audible. I may have just given you your new obsession. You are listening to From Ring to Veil.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kim.
And we are your wedding planning gurus.
We take the stress out
and put the fun back into wedding planning. The Fattest Bride You Know, episode number 140.
This week's episode, we discuss a blog post that we found very interesting.
And it's from the blog called Sweet Jane Says. And we'll give you all of her information at the end of the segment. We're talking about her. So.
That's right. But before we get into this, how's it going in Texas? You feel settled yet?
No, there's still boxes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll always be boxes everywhere. I don't know. I hope not. I haven't got anything on my walls yet, so it doesn't feel like I've accomplished much. But I did get my couch.
That's good, finally, because it was caught in the hurricane.
Yes, it was flooded out in a semi-trailer on 610 in Houston when Harvey came through.
So you were directly affected.
Yes, I was.
Yes, but at least it wasn't too bad.
Some relief.
You already got it. Come on.
Okay. Anyway.
Dude, let me tell you what. The fires up here are crazy.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of the air quality. It looks horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to breathe. I would have to be on some kind of breathing apparatus.
I'm telling you, it was really bad. And there was ash falling from the sky all over our cars and everything. And like people are trying to breathe out there and there's ash everywhere. So it was pretty bad there for a couple days.
Wow.
It's cleared up now a bit. The fires are still going, but
yeah,
it was crazy. And we're not that close to the fires here. So that ash was going pretty far. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just hope everybody, all of our listeners are safe and sound and unaffected. Or if you were affected, you're out of there and hopefully in a much better place.
I would love to know if you were a bride and your weddings were during Harvey or Irma, what did you do?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would love to know if our listeners were affected between Harvey and Irma. What did you do? How did you get through it? We'll make a whole show out of it if a lot of people respond. So,
yes.
I mean, it's pertinent information.
Yes.
So.
And if you have some great information for how to get through something like that, I mean, we would love to pass that on. So good call, Shannon.
Even with the fires up there in the Northwest, because I know a lot of those venues have to be affected. So
yes. I mean, Montana, we just had our show on Montana, and I saw that there was a fire very close to a couple of places we talked about. I don't know at this point what has happened or if anything has happened to them or not, but I will do some research and see. Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to this. I mean, this is going to be a hard one. I'll have to say that. It's very intense.
Yeah. So, as you probably already know, Kim and I are both kind of pleasantly plump, I guess you can say.
We're jolly old. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're on the higher side of the scale.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm considered a plus size, and I know how hard it is to find decent clothes that fit. Could you imagine trying to find a wedding dress?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our listeners who are plus sizes because we're in two boards on Facebook that have to do with plus size brides. Mm-hmm. It's a real problem out there because not a lot of designers make plus size dresses.
That's right. And when we saw this, we were like, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
So in the author's note, she says, I wear a U.S. size 14-16, and I fully acknowledge my privilege of being white, acceptable fat. My experience was extremely poor, and I cannot imagine, but would love to hear about, the experiences of other fat and super fat brides. Now, these are her words, so that's just wanted to put that out there first. So let's get into this post. By the way, there is a link to the post on our show notes. So if you go to fromringtoveil.com/141, you can find it all there.
So she's getting married in November, and it's really kind of important for her to find a dress. She says, I have 104 days to find her dress.
Yeah. Whew. And she said that she has a budget of $1,500, which I think is pretty good for a dress, right?
Right.
She says, I should have bought my dress a year ago when I got engaged. It doesn't matter that I was pregnant at the time and had no clue what the hell my body was going to do or how it was going to look. I should have bought that dress and altered my body any which way I had in order to fit in it. Which, side note here, I don't like that at all. Or at least that's what I walked away with from the first and only bridal appointment that I arranged. Sad face.
It says she was on the fence about doing any bridal appointments at all. I don't like trying on clothes in front of people. I don't know
exactly
why anybody else would. Even if I was a skinny person, I wouldn't want to take my clothes off in front of somebody. And anyway.
Yeah, well, with the bridal dress, it's hard to put on usually, no matter what size you are.
Yeah, I know. But still, I don't. Anyway. So when I try on, she goes, when I try on stuff, I want to take it solo and judge worthy before I show it off. But if say yes to the dress has taught us anything, that it's not how wedding dress shopping is done. So she picked an Instagram worthy shop on the west side of Atlanta to be her jumping off point. It was a small shop and it was very intimate. Her maid of honor and her were going to the same shop on the same day. And her friend, who's also plus size, had her first appointment. She's getting married a year from now and had a bunch of stuff to choose from. So the first dress she picked was stunning.
Yeah. So that's uncommon there. That's really lucky. If the first dress you pick and put on is like the dress.
Right. But you also got to remember, she said her wedding is a year from now. So that means they have time to order it in the size that she needs and get it altered. The girl that we're talking about had 100 days. Mm-hmm. Jane.
Jane wanted a super boho, not too traditional dress, preferably with lace, which I think sounds beautiful myself because, that's kind of how I like to roll. We pulled 7 or 8 and I couldn't wait to try them on. I had a baby 5 months ago and abdominal surgery 2 weeks ago. So I'll admit I'm not feeling my physical best. However, I thought I was sort of getting back to myself. And I have to say, once you have a baby, getting back to yourself is a totally different place than it was before. It doesn't matter what size you are.
Right. And I don't know about you, but your hips are bigger, your breasts are bigger, you're never going to be that same exact size and that same exact body shape after you get pregnant and have a baby.
That's right. I mean, period. That's just how it is. Usually, I find that super skinny people who have had a baby end up looking better after they have a baby. They just look more feminine. They get a little bit more round. They're softer a little. You know what I mean? Even though they might be super in shape. I don't know. There's just something different about them. I've noticed that.
So she had a bridal assistant, and the bridal assistant helped her choose, and she had all these dresses. She put the first dress on. It wouldn't fit her arms, which I have that problem all the time. Mm-hmm. I get stuff in my size. The arms don't fit.
Yep.
They're too tight. Especially if it's like long dolman sleeves or something like that, where it's really tight up at the top and kind of blousy at the bottom. Nothing fits my arm up there by my shoulder. And so that really pisses me off. Anyway.
So we understand that. Mine is in the boobage area, usually.
So she was forced to walk out of the dressing room, pushing them in front of me like she was, she wasn't really in this form-fitting. She was in this dress. It wouldn't fit. So now she's forced to go outside of the dressing room and basically show it off. Mm-hmm. So the second dress she tried on, she barely squeezed into. And it was so tight, the zipper wouldn't even go up.
Yeah. And so they shove a piece of material in there.
Right.
Just to kind of cover everything.
So her butt wouldn't be exposed.
I understand why they do that, because they want to cover everything. But that in itself is kind of embarrassing.
Right.
There should be a better way for that.
And then the third one was, quote unquote, very stretchy, forgiving fabric, according to her assistant. And it was the only reason she was able to slightly put it into place, and it was still tight. She felt like a stuffed sausage, basically.
I felt like that before, too.
Yeah.
I feel like that too. So she stood in the dressing room wearing a pair of loose, high-waisted maternity underwear and tried not to cry, while the assistant held up the dresses and said, "This won't fit, but imagine what it would look like on me." If I wanted to imagine what the dress looked like, I'd stick to my Fat Girl Forte and buy something online. Totally. I mean, you don't go dress shopping just to imagine. So, let's go back. She went to this specific place because she thought they carried her size. Right. But apparently they didn't.
Right. And you've got to realize these are mostly sample sizes, which they usually come in a size 10. That's what sample sizes come in. So nothing's going to fit her anyway. But then they shouldn't make her feel like, oh, well, this is never going to fit you. Mm-hmm. And if she would have had more time, they probably would have found something that fit her. But since she only had 100 days, she couldn't get special order. She couldn't get it altered. So
correct. So the dress she was most excited about was marked 50% off because the style had been discontinued. And she wasn't even allowed to attempt to try it on because there was no way it was going to fit. And they were seriously concerned about ripping. I mean, I can see both sides in that. But how terrible for the bride.
Yeah. And then the assistant said, well, you should have just you came to the wrong place. You should have went to a bridal salon with plus sizes.
Right. Then she says, I emailed the salon and let them know my size, my wedding date, my budget, all ahead of my appointment, and it even made it seem it might be an issue. They told me to come on down and they would definitely have something to accommodate her. In fact, when we got there, one of the bridal assistants even bragged about how they do all this research on their clients before they come, and they pull the stuff that they believe she would love. So they already knew she was plus size. Why didn't they say something? Why didn't they say then you might go somewhere else instead of having her go through all this horrid experience and kind of put a bad taste in her mouth about it? You know what I mean?
You're right.
That just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, sure, you want to sell stuff, but if you don't even carry your size, why make her come out there?
I know. And she said she's had a horrible year. She just wanted to feel like a bride for a moment. Mm-hmm. Have this awesome bridal appointment where she goes and has, so she can say yes to the dress.
Exactly.
But it made her feel like crap, basically.
Yeah. Like piling it on.
Mm-hmm.
And they've, of course, I can't imagine having a baby and then having abdominal surgery on top of that because your whole that area of you is not really great for a while.
Right.
And then having to have surgery on it and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like me, I had 2 C-sections. So, they never put anything back together the way it really was meant to go.
That's right.
So, anyway.
So basically, she says she felt like an outsider intruding on this lovely world where, of course, nothing would fit her because she's not the ideal or she didn't feel welcomed either. I feel so sorry. I want to just give her a hug and tell her I'm sorry that happened. That's just...
Yeah.
That's not right.
But then you also want to hug her and say, I know how it feels because I've been not wedding dress shopping, but even just regular shopping. You go there and you try stuff on, and you try stuff on, and it doesn't fit. And they say it's, fit for the plus size person, and it just looks like crap, or it looks like grandma clothes, or it's dumpy, or, everything has elastic in it.
I have to say there are a few shops that are embracing this and are getting better clothes, but it's still a long way off, I feel. Right. Like you have things like Torrid where you can't really buy a bridal gown or anything like that, but at least you could buy a little bit more dressy stuff, and it is made for us.
Mm-hmm. And it is a little bit more fashionable.
It is fashionable, but it's a certain type of fashionable. So it's like if that's not your style, then you can't really buy much there. But I think, I don't know what these people were thinking, saying, come on down. No. Really?
So she tries to be body positive, but it's even harder to be fat positive, especially when you go into a situation like that.
That's right. So she gave us some statistics and says this year the average size of an American woman was officially bumped up to a 16-18. Brands and retailers are slowly but surely starting to design more fashionable, affordable, plus-size clothing, and indie brands are killing the game. And she gives a couple of shout-outs to some plus-size bloggers. There's Gabby Gregg, Nicolette Mason, and Premiline. Is that what you would say?
Or Prem, maybe? Premline?
Mm-hmm. Was so popular that their website crashed almost immediately after launching. Oops. So why are we still marginalizing plus-size brides is what she's asking. Why is it that these people are starting to give us better clothing? What about the bridal shows or bridal shops? I think this is where you would go to somebody to design your dress.
There are independent designers out there. This is our opinion because we know a really great independent wedding dress designer.
Yes.
And she does all sizes, all shapes. She'll customize a dress to fit you. Go find one of those. Go find a seamstress that's a very good seamstress and that specializes in wedding dresses. Mm-hmm. They can make you something.
That's right.
As well. They can usually, if you like something, you can show them. They can sometimes copy them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's right. But I also kind of think that they don't understand, like bridal shops don't understand the plus sizes and the issues that they have, like the arms or the boobs or the hips, whatever that is.
Because, like Kim says, her problems is the boob, right? Mm-hmm. She has an abundance of boob.
Thanks.
Let me go to my point. I myself have no boobs.
Right.
Okay. So they'll say, well, you're a plus size person. Why don't you have boobs? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never had the boobs. Even when I was pregnant, yes, they got bigger, but once I stopped breastfeeding, they went away. Mm-hmm. So, they didn't stay around. So I don't really have boobs. I'm almost a B cup, barely a C cup. Okay. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah,
but I've got bigger hips and a big butt. So.
Right. So everybody has a different shape too.
Right.
But with plus size, it seems that it's really something that they need to learn more about, and with this quote unquote research they did, they should have known. Well, she could have larger arms, she could have larger boobs, she could have larger hips, whatever. Just don't think they get it. That's the problem. Right. So after the appointment, the bridal assistant sent her an email pointing her to check out a couple of different websites, and she's familiar with both of them, and neither one stock plus sizes.
Yeah, I looked on them. They have gorgeous stuff, but they go up to size 14 or 16.
I mean, that to me says they don't understand.
Right.
They think of plus size as smaller than what it really is.
Right. And if you go online to like Amazon and it says, and you look up plus size clothing, you got to remember most of these clothing retailers are in Asia.
Yeah.
And so the plus size, if it says 14, 16 or 16, 18, it's not American 14, 16 or 16, Correct. 18. It's like 2 sizes smaller.
It really is. And so when you ordered the extra large t-shirt from somewhere, it's really like a large, medium. Maybe a medium. Yeah. It really doesn't, they don't understand it at all. We have trouble with that all the time.
Yeah. So the blogger's name is Jane Janizeko, I think. She's writing and living in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you want to get in contact with her, if you want to comment on this blog post or anything like that, her email is jane.janizeko Janezeko, JANECZKO @me.com. Or she's on Instagram as well.
Right. So again, we will have links to the places we talked about on the show notes. That's fromringtofail.com/141. So you don't have to worry about writing this down. It'll be on the show notes for you.
Right. Because her name's kind of hard to spell.
Yeah. Not easy like Mills.
Yeah. All right. So it's listener question time.
Woohoo!
See, we need a little jingle.
We
It's
do.
listener question time.
Let's get to reading this. Hi, Shannon and Kim. First of all, thank you so much for your awesome podcast. Yay! I found it shortly after I got engaged, and it's been so helpful throughout my planning process. I'm hoping you can help me with a unique question about my wedding day. Jewelry. I'm wearing this totally awesome illusion neckline dress. We have to talk about that because, I don't know if everybody knows what that is.
It's a lace piece that goes around the neck. It's not like a drop neckline or a sweetheart neckline.
I'm wearing this totally awesome illusion neckline dress that I'm kind of obsessed with. And from the moment I tried it on, I knew I wanted to wear it with my hair up with some drop earrings. That sounds really pretty. I like that. That got my mom really excited because she wore some really pretty gold drop earrings in her own wedding. They're not super fancy. They're from some costume jewelry designer who was popular back in the 80s. Woohoo! Think Kendra Scott quality. My mom is so tickled that her earrings are exactly the style that would look great with my dress, and I know she really wants me to wear them. I agree with her that it would be really special for us both, and I think the earrings are beautiful in every aspect except one, the color.
What I'm struggling with and what I haven't told my mom yet is that I really want my wedding day jewelry to be silver. Honestly, gold would clash with everything, and I've envisioned for the overall look, feel, and color scheme of my day. Do you think it would be possible for a jeweler to transform my mother's earrings from gold to silver? Could they maybe plate them in sterling or rhodium? I'm not sure whether that's something they would even could do with costume jewelry. And if it's a possibility, how do I approach my mom about it? I'm worried she'll be offended or hurt that the earrings in their current state aren't quite what I want, and she might not even approve of me altering them at all.
I'm really hoping you can help because this got me pretty stressed out, and you ladies always seem to give such sound advice. Yay!
I will first tell you that we are not jewelry aficionados.
That's right.
So I don't know if they can do that to costume jewelry or not, because if they're not real gold,
it might not stick or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. You're going to have to contact a jeweler about that.
Yes.
The problem with your mom, I would just talk to her. She's your mom. She'll love you anyway.
Yeah, she might get her feelings a little hurt, but if you just explain to her that you're really wanting to go with silver and you would love to see if they could silver plated or something like that, and if you love the earrings and if silver plating them is the answer for you, I would really make that clear to her that you want to wear them. You just want to put silver plate them if you can. Because it would be really special to wear them. I mean, What mom would be like mad about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're expressing that you want to, or, well, I was going to say you could turn it into a necklace, but I guess you wouldn't want to wear a necklace. Plus, you still have it gold, so that wouldn't work.
Right, and the neckline of that dress goes all the way up, so she really can't wear a necklace on it.
Right.
But I mean, even if your mom doesn't want you to silver plate them or whatever to change them in any way because she wants them back, or if she's not giving them to you, then find somewhere else. Place them in your bouquet or something that's not really going to be seen, but you're going to be carrying them maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then find something else that's maybe close in style. Check out eBay.
Right.
If they have vintage jewelry all the time, so you might find the exact same ones in silver.
That's true. That's true. You could also, if you're changing for your reception, wear them then. Maybe not for the ceremony. Or maybe wear them for the bridal shower or the rehearsal dinner or something, that you're at least wearing them if it turns out that you can't plate them. But I'll have to tell you that my engagement ring is silver, white gold. And then the little band that I have that goes with it, it didn't come in white gold. So it's a yellow gold, but you can't see it from the front. It's just the back. But they have layered, is it white gold or silver on top of that? It has since rubbed off, but it worked for a while. So I know that they can do stuff like that. I just don't know with the quality of the earrings if they can do that. So I think you got a 50-50 chance of whether they can or can't. It's going to be yes or no. But again, like Shannon said, look and see if you can find the same exact ones. It's quite possible.
Yeah, or something similar on eBay.
I know. We all kind of want to do that something special, right? So my mother-in-law gave me a wedding band that was her mother's, I believe, to wear on one of my fingers during the ceremony. And then, I gave it back. But there's always that kind of special thing. I wish I had my mom's earrings or whatever, but they were lost. Who knows where those things are?
Aww.
I have one earring that my mom wore to her prom. There was just one of them left, so I have that. I stole it from her.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Well,
So I hope that helps you a little bit, Allie. If it, just talk to your mom about it. She's your mom.
That's right. Talk to her.
Yeah.
So thank you for the listener emails and comments. By the way, our last week's show, the average cost of a wedding, has gotten a lot of comments, even on the actual post on our website, if you can believe that. We've had some comments there. So I have emailed the listener from last week, Ash, and let her know that people are sending her some love and some comments on that. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Last week's question was a doozy.
Yeah. It's always hard when you're dealing with people and their feelings, You don't want to hurt people's feelings, but you want what you want. And that's really hard.
So remember, you can always reach us anytime by emailing us info@fromringtoveil.com.
Subscribe to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube even.
And until next time, no stress, no worries, keep calm and listen on.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Facebook, From Ring to Veil, on Twitter, @From Ring to Veil, and on our website, FromRingToVeil.com.
Music provided by bensound.com.